Get ready, everyone. In September, we are going to be focusing on gut health, and I will be running a 5-day gut health challenge. Today, we're going to talk about where we're going to start the identification of trigger foods. Food inflammation tests can help identify specific foods that may be causing inflammatory reactions in the body. These reactions can manifest as a variety of symptoms, such as digestive issues, skin problems, migraines, fatigue, joint pain, and more. By pinpointing the trigger foods, individuals can modify their diet to avoid these particular items and potentially alleviate symptoms. There are many common food triggers, like the following: dairy products, lactose. The sugar that's found in dairy products can be very difficult for some individuals to digest, leading to symptoms such as bloating, gas, abdominal pain, or diarrhea. Some people may also have an intolerance to the proteins found in dairy, such as casein or whey. Also, gluten containing grains. That's a big one. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, rye, and some individuals may have a sensitivity to gluten, and some people may have celiac disease. Symptoms can include digestive issues, fatigue, headaches, and joint pain. Another big one: eggs. Eggs, particularly the proteins found in the egg whites, can cause sensitivities in some individuals. Symptoms include skin problems, respiratory issues, headaches, the list goes on. Shellfish like shrimp, crab, lobster, mussels, those are also common allergens, and reactions can range from mild symptoms like hives and digestive discomfort to severe allergic reactions. And then nuts, peanuts, and tree nuts, such as almonds and walnuts, cashews, and pistachios, all good things, but they can cause allergic reactions in some individuals. And allergic reactions to nuts can be severe and potentially life threatening to some people. Soy is another common allergen, and it can cause sensitivities in some people. And symptoms can include digestive issues, skin rashes, or respiratory symptoms as well. Corn and corn products can be difficult for some individuals to digest, leading to symptoms such as bloating or gas or diarrhea. And if you feel like that is something that might be happening to you, check those ingredients. Nightshade vegetables are another one: tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, potatoes. Some people might experience sensitivity to those compounds found in the vegetables, which can lead to digestive issues or joint pain or swelling or just general inflammation. It's so important to figure out what is happening in your body whenever you eat food like those, but also other foods that could trigger a response within your body that you're not aware of. You can have responses to healthy foods. The first place I would start if you feel like you're having digestive issues is to start with an elimination diet. It's the best way to find out what you're sensitive to. You remove all the things mentioned before for 23 days, and you can add in some other things that could be aggravating. Add each one in 3 days at a time and note how you respond. Are you more anxious? Do you have a headache? Do you notice more joint pain? If you have any negative response to any of these foods, then take them out for a longer period of time. If you do not, then you can keep the food in your diet. But it creates such an awareness and a mindfulness of the foods you're eating and how your bodies are responding. Sometimes food triggers are a bit harder to figure out, especially if you eat generally healthy and you continue to have issues. You may want to get a food inflammation test done. I currently love the KVMO test, which you can find in my e-store and you can order it at home. It is a multi-pathway delayed food sensitivity test, and it uses technology that measures both the IgG and immune complexes in the most common food-related pathways in the body. Up to 179 different foods are tested in this food sensitivity test. So let's take a look at one of the results and see what we find here. This test, it is looking at how your body is responding to a lot of different foods. So in this particular result, this person had a very high reactivity to these 4 things in the top red. What's cool about this test when you get the results is it's like, okay, blueberries, I shouldn't eat blueberries. But when you click on it, it also shows you some possible cross reactivity of other foods that are in that family, like cranberry or wintergreens, and where to find it. Like blueberries are commonly in baked goods, smoothies, cereals, jams, and jellies. So if you're making your healthy smoothie every morning and for some reason you can't quite figure out why your belly hurts after you have your smoothie, then this could be one of the reasons why. The other thing that it looks at are alternatives or substitutes like black huckleberries, black currants, blackberries, raspberries, cranberries, red grapes, and cherries. If you can't eat blueberries, it shows you what you can eat instead. If we go back, then we look at this orange group. This is a high reaction, so it would be still considered foods that you don't want to eat super commonly. So if I look at cow's milk here, possible cross-reactivity would be buffalo, goat, lamb, sheep, and wheat and gluten. Where to find it? Lots of things here. Other terms, so cow's milk can also look like these on an ingredient package when you're looking at it. So if you see any of those ingredients, you know it falls into the same category of reactivity. And then alternate substitutes that you could have instead of cow's milk. Then we go into the 2+ reactions, which is a moderate reaction. So let's say pistachios was on the list here. The family are these other similar type of nuts. So you might have a similar reaction to some of those nuts. You can see they are found in some butters and ice creams and oils and salads, and you have to be aware of where they are. There's no other term for pistachios. There are alternatives. So you go through each of those, and it gives you this really fantastic idea of these are the foods that you should avoid at this time as you're trying to heal your gut. If you want to look at the entire list of reactivity, this is all the reactions. You can see that if it's in green, you're good. If it starts to be this lime green color, then you're getting a little bit of reactivity there. So that may be a food that you don't want to eat super, super frequently. If we're getting into the yellow and into the red, into the orange, then you want to stay away from that food at this time. Now, sometimes if you are eating a ton of one certain type of food, then that could mean that you are causing a sensitivity just by eating that type of food. In this instance, when looking at this person, they were making a smoothie with blueberries every single day. And so that over an extended period of time could have caused an increased reactivity to blueberries because we're dealing with a gut that was not fully healed and not fully healthy. But if you look down here at some of the other foods that they were dealing with, like coffee, this person never drank coffee ever. So that would show me it is a true immune response. Their body is responding to coffee. They haven't even been drinking it. Same thing with sardines. Wasn't even a part of their diet and found that they had a high reactivity to it. Same thing with clams, not even a part of their diet, and they saw they had a high reactivity to it. So you have to take all that into consideration. And if there is a food you've been eating a lot of, maybe just decrease that, take it out of your diet for a time, about 23 days, and then add it back in and see how your body responds and eat it in moderation. Variety in your diet is very, very important. This test comes with a meal plan. This one particular that I pulled up doesn't have it up yet because They give you the results, and then they take the foods that you are okay eating and give you examples of breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the foods, creating a diverse diet. So you don't want to be eating the same things all the time. You want a diverse diet with a lot of different foods in it. This test is cool because it also takes a look at your gut barrier panel. So if I were to explain the gut barrier, this is how I would do it. If you want to think about, there's a river and then there's a picket fence along the river. The river is your bloodstream, and the picket fence is your gut barrier. It is the barrier to get into the river. If we look at the IgG column, that is the column that tells me at some point in time, your gut barrier was damaged so badly that the picket fence went into the river and got washed away. So it's a huge immune response that shows me it was such an immune response that it got washed away. In this particular instance, if we look at the occludin, it's a marker of tight junction stabilization and optimal barrier function. So if these levels are elevated, it indicates that the tight junctions are breaking down so much that it's in the bloodstream. If you look at the IgA column, that is in the mucosal lining. So that means that the picket fence got knocked down, but it's not all the way in the river, it's on the bank. It's your first line of defense immune response to say, hey, something's going on here. We're having some issues that you might want to look at. So it is a less severe gut barrier issue than the IgG. So in this circumstance, the lipopolysaccharides, the LPS, they are a very important structural component of the membrane. And it shows that if there's elevated of antibody against LPS, that there is leaky gut and inflammatory issues in the gut barrier. If it was in the IgG column, then that would say it is in the bloodstream. There's severe damage to that. There's a high reactivity to what is happening in that immune system response. So that's kind of how I would explain this part of the test result in a way that you might be able to understand it, is we're looking at severity and immune response. So if I saw this test for this person, I would say, hey, there's been some past damage. There is some present warning lights going on. We need to try to fix that. We need to try to heal the gut barrier as much as possible, decrease your inflammation in your body as much as possible. We need to take out these foods completely out of your body, along with the ones that are cross-reacting, and make sure they are not a part of your diet at all, so that your body has decreased inflammation and has a chance to heal the gut overall. So it's a really, really cool test. It's a blood spot that you can do at home. Like I said, it's in my e-store. If you want to know where your gut is, it's fantastic to know these things, especially going into September when I'm going to be running a gut health challenge within this group for 5 days starting September 18th. We're going to go through some really cool things, learning about the gut, learning about things that can influence the gut. And I'm going to encourage all of you to join me on the challenge and try to get your gut in gear so that your immune system is ready for the fall, is ready for all the winter germs, and you're able to make some good headway for healing yourself from the inside out. I hope that it is an amazing adventure for you all. And I am so, so very excited in you joining me in this. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye.